So we finally know the date of the presidential elections. There was a lot of talk about this. To be totally honest, I thought it would be in November because the Irish Constitution states that it has to be before the 11th of November for the president to be elected. And obviously it is a bit early, I suppose, to the 24th because the Constitution says it doesn't have to happen to really before the 11th. Because that's when the new president gets sworn in, as I say, is there. But yeah, it is an interesting race, to say the least. At the moment, it's quite crazy at the moment. It's hard to even describe what's happening at the moment because it kind of is all over the place. Everybody's kind of putting their name, like quite literally. There's people that I haven't even ever heard of putting their name forward for the presidency. I've never heard of them in my life, to be totally honest. But yeah, there's a whole list of people, to be totally honest. But the only thing that's really confirmed at the moment is the date, of course. Now we know the date. It's the 24th. It's the bank holiday weekend, would you believe? So I suppose too why they're doing that too is they're hoping a lot of people go out and vote, because usually a presidential election, not many people, you get a good enough turnout but not that big of a turnout, because again the presidency in Ireland is only a ceremonial role. It's not really a big huge role like the president of the United States. You have no really authority over really anything. You're just kind of a figurehead. You don't really have any kind of say really in anything, to be done and say. But yeah, Michael D. Higgins, imagine 14 years, half of my life Michael D. Higgins has been Uachtar on the hair and president of Ireland. It's quite insane when I'm really just sitting here and thinking about it. 14 years is an awful long time, because it's obviously every 7 years, and the Irish Constitution states that the president can only serve 2 consecutive terms, which is 14 years, which is insane, because I'm 22. And just think about that, 22, and half of my life Michael D. Higgins has been Uachtar on the hair and president of Ireland. The only other president during my lifetime was Mary McAleese for a short period of time when I was only an infant. Because Mary Robinson resigned the Uachtar on the hair in the early 2000s. But yeah, no, it's quite insane. Just going back to the whole thing. So at the moment, Catherine Connolly and Heather Humphreys, which I believe my former local TD, are up for the presidency, because Fine Gael has supported Heather Humphreys, or the Fine Gael camp with Heather Humphreys. And then obviously Catherine Connolly, the Labour Party Social Democrats, the People Before Profit, are backing Catherine Connolly along with some independents. But we'll see what happens to Fianna Fáil. It's interesting, Fianna Fáil, because I think everybody and their mother thought Bertie Ahern would be the Fianna Fáil candidate, but it doesn't look to be. Fianna Fáil seems to be against Bertie Ahern, which is an interesting thing. But in retrospect, they would have been mad to come out and say, let's put Bertie Ahern in the hours for Fianna Fáil. They would have been totally mad in the head, because let's be fair, Bertie has a few skeletons in the closet. And we have a lot to talk about Bertie Ahern. I don't know where to start with Bertie Ahern. But long story short, he might go as an independent, which would be something for the books, to be totally honest, if Bertie Ahern does go as an independent, because it doesn't look like he's going to get the Fianna Fáil nomination. I can't remember who the Fianna Fáil candidate is. He's in with the GEA, of course, so take that as you will. But I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's not really a politician. He's not really he never was a minister or government TD or anything. He's just kind of he was in the Defence Forces, an army officer in the Defence Force. I can't think of his name, but we'll talk about it in detail soon to come. Gavin something. I can't think of it now. Imagine that on the spot. I can't think of it. And then obviously there's many other people being floated around to go for the presidency. Like, it's insane. There's a lot of independents too. Insane amount of people. So we wait and see, because obviously the terms of the presidents, people are saying, why am I not mentioning about the other people? Because it's hard to know at the moment, because at the moment in time, the way the Irish presidency works, you have to get the backing of members of the Dáil and the Seanad, which is the Parliament. To only meet 20 members of the Oireachtas, pretty much, the Dáil and the Seanad, the Parliament, to be on the ballot paper, or the County Council too, local authorities. So it's a lot of rigmarole. You can't just come forward, take for step. I can't just go in the morning and say, yeah, I'm going to put my name for Uachtar on the hearing. You can't do that. You need there's a lot of rigmarole, there's a lot of tricking about to try and get there first. So there's a lot of work to get done, and especially now in the next few weeks we'll hear of all of it, because it's literally only a few weeks away. We're in the 2nd of September when I'm making this video. You won't find it. You won't find it at the end of October. You will not find it at all coming up very quickly. But long story short, I'm going to be the first person at my local polling station. There's no doubt about it. So we see what happens. It's hard to know at the moment. I know a lot of people saying Catherine Connolly could do very well and Heather Humphreys could do very well. It all depends, really. It really does. Because a lot of people don't see the point, first of all, in the persons, me included, to be totally honest. Because it's just kind of a pen pushing job for 300s up in 1,000 UAE. And obviously paying staff and the big upkeep of always Ignúchtar on the Irish taxpayer pays for it. They have very little to do with anything, to be totally honest. But that's a whole different kettle of fish. But yeah, so let me know, who would you vote for if you're voting in the election? Will you vote? That's another question. Will people vote? Do you care? Do you not give a shit? Let me know. Because I know some people just couldn't give a shit. And to be totally honest, I wouldn't really blame them. Because it all would drive you mad, to be totally honest. Because the amount of information you had to try and keep in, because of all that's happening around, to try and keep tabs on everything that's happening, is insane. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more.